January 21st in the year of our Lord, 2007, started off as a day like any other for young Sam Oliver Spence at Hikarangi. Where the hell is Hikarangi, you ask? It's a tiny settlement in the Northland region of the North Island of a tiny country in the South Pacific called New Zealand. What do you need to know about Hikarangi for the story to make sense? Probably nothing. But here's some stuff I found online. Its main attraction is a train station. There's a volcanic dome nearby called Mount Hikarangi. Furthermore, one and only highway that used to pass through the town now bypasses it completely. What do you need to know about New Zealand for the story to make sense? Again, probably nothing. The word kiwi refers to the people of New Zealand, a species of flightless bird and a variety of fruit, technically a berry, that Kiwis, the people, export around the world. Furthermore, Kiwi brand shoe polish comes from Australia, and you can't throw a stone in New Zealand without hitting a volcano. So if you're ever in the country hunting hobbits or whatever, it's probably a good idea to familiarize yourself with the location of the exits in case you need to flee. But I digress. Returning to our pitiful protagonist, on January 21st, 2007, Sam Oliver Spence and friends set out in their trusty Mitsubishi for Whale Bay for a day of fun in the sun and some spearfishing.
Let's go chuck a few spears at the fish.
Unfortunately for Spence, a guy named Daniel Hill and his pal, Justin Monk, who happened to be wanted by police for breach of bail, set out for Whale Bay at the same time, accompanied by some random 5-year-old kid. On the facts, it's unclear if the kid's parents had any knowledge of their son's poor taste in friends. But I digress. While Spence was busy chucking spears at flounders, Hill got busy breaking into the Mitsubishi. With buddy Justin acting as a spotter, Hill popped the lock on the Mitsubishi with a screwdriver, making off with Spence's wallet, mobile phone, and a sizable stack of CDs. A witness to the crime left a note on the windscreen with a description of the offender's car and license plate. When the spearfishers returned to the parking lot and found the note, Spence couldn't call the cops, of course. Hill had stolen his phone, but armed with a solid description of the perp's vehicle from a good Samaritan, surely Spence weighed his options and went straight to the police station to report the crime, right? Roll. Spence and crew piled into the Mitsubishi, tore out of the parking lot, and sped along the twisty road in hot pursuit of the thieves. They had no music to spice up their quest. Hill had stolen their CDs, but Spence still had his Trident, and one can only assume he derived some pleasure from running his fingers along the cold, polished metal. Somewhere between Matapuri and Nungaru, the cars carrying Spence and Hill came within striking distance of each other. The Mitsubishi swerved in front of the other car and Spence jumped out, demanding the return of his stolen property. Hill and company sat stunned, like deer in the headlights, until their brains kicked into gear and they attempted to flee. Channeling Poseidon, Spence hurled his Trident at the moving vehicle, which passed through the open passenger side window, nailing Hill in the head.
Be careful with that. That's the most powerful tranq gun on the market. Huh. They say it can puncture the skin of a rhino from 100... Ow! Yes!
Surely Hill was in agony, tormented by pain so severe mere mortals would have passed out, right? Wrong. Not only did Hill claim
I didn't even really feel it,
he remained blissfully unaware of the meter-long spear protruding from his skull until buddy Justin pointed it out.
You got an arrow sticking out of your head, bro.
With a spear in his head, Hill and company gunned it, driving until the engine blew, at which point Justin, who was wanted by police, fled on foot with the oversized toddler. Alone and quite possibly delirious, Hill yanked the spear out of his head. As blood gushed from the open wound, he toyed with the idea of re-impaling himself to stop the flow of blood, but by some miracle, he somehow refrained from making a bad situation infinitely worse. After receiving emergency surgery for his skull fracture, Hill needed rehab, which entailed a 1-month stint in the brain injury unit of Waikato Hospital. Upon discharge, he was convicted of theft, In court, Hill admitted that he'd broken into the Mitsubishi hoping to find cash to score P, Kiwi slang for crystal meth. And this is where things really click for me personally. Your average guy probably couldn't endure the pain of a spear impalement without flinching. But a meth head, let's just say, it's probably easier to handle the pain of an impalement by Trident if you happen to be high as a goddamn kite. So what about Spence? He too had to stand trial, accused of acting with reckless disregard for the safety of others. Crown prosecutor Anna Patterson was not at all impressed by Spence's subpar decision-making.
I do not condone Daniel Hill's actions, but nor can we condone the actions of the accused, who took the law into his own hands.
Defense attorney Arthur Fairley admitted his client had thrown the spear, but denied Spence had done it with reckless disregard. Frankly, it's hard to imagine a scenario in which a person could hurl a meter-long trident at a moving vehicle without having reckless disregard for the safety of its occupants. Unless, of course, the vehicle happened to be a Cybertruck.
Flatten the tip of the arrow.
If you thought the legal woes flowing from Spence's dumbass decision to use another human being for target practice must have compelled our pitiful protagonist to do some soul-searching, well, you'd be wrong.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
On May 5th, 2020, an infamous roofing contractor by the name of Sam Oliver Spence was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison, reduced to 3 years, 9 months on appeal, for a series of financial misdeeds that would make even the most crooked corporate villain blush. Between 2011 and 2018, Spence ran a roofing empire, Compass Roofing, into the ground, racking up more than $2 million in debt and leaving creditors high and dry, while customers got dodgy work or no work at all. In true Phoenix Company style, he'd bankrupt one business, transfer its assets to a shiny new company, and keep the scam rolling, until the authorities finally caught on. Dad insult to injury, Spence directed threats and rants at elderly customers and officials tasked with cleaning up his mess. The fool got his 15 minutes of fame on the Consumer Affairs show Fair Go.
You're gonna get it, bro. You're gonna get it, mate. You're gonna know what I mean. Bankrupt you, liquidate you, destroy your reputation. It'll make your life a living hell. Hi there, I'm just wondering if your wife's open for prostitution tonight. I've seen her in the NZ Girls magazine in the name of my neck. Hey, Marty, no, mate. You need to play up, bro. Yeah, Martin, you gay homosexual.
And what he was trying to achieve by calling me a homosexual, is that going to get your money paid? I don't think so.
According to liquidator Digby Noyce, Spence had a habit of doing cruel things, like drilling holes in the roofs of elderly people's homes and lighting fires on their decks. Moral of the story, don't do meth. But if you're going to do meth, which you obviously shouldn't, don't steal drug money from cars operated by spear-happy idiots. Thanks for watching. YouTube thinks you'll like this video too. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.